Welcome to the Football Yanks podcast, covering the English Premier League with a special focus on our fellow Americans. And now your hosts, Derek and Ryan.
The Football Yanks podcast. We are in EPL Week 13, where Chelsea and Tottenham both lose. So it's we're a depressed team of podcasters. But I do have good news. I now have a hardware soundboard.
For partner sports like football, we will use yours.
And
Football, sir.
Yes. Fucking level it up.
Throw a ball with your hands.
I've added some sounds, some topical sounds for the podcast. So, yeah, we're gonna go through the fixtures from this week. We're gonna catch up on how the Yanks did. We lost a miserable game to Trinidad, but we have moved on in the tournament. So we'll talk about that and cover how some of the Yanks did abroad. And yeah, how was your Thanksgiving, guys? I saw Derek quite a bit, a lot more than I'd like to, if we're being honest, but
right back at you. But yeah, really enjoyed, made some Italian food on Thanksgiving, and then ate your turkey on Friendsgiving. So it was good. Yeah, I got to eat everything I wanted.
Who made Italian food?
Heather made sauce. I made baked ziti, and I made meatballs.
Oh, okay. I thought you said they made Italian food, and
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
I mean, they being the Italians, they probably made Italian food. So they don't know how to make anything else. I don't think that had 100 turkey.
You're like the most self-loathing Italian person I've ever met.
Don't you dare call me Italian on this podcast.
Don't let anybody know.
I hear shots. Okay, Mel, calm down. What kind of shots?
I made baked ziti.
All right, I'm gonna hunker down and let Luke take some flack. All right.
Luke, what'd you get into? You were out of town, right?
Yeah, we went up to Vermont.
Man,
my mom's
that
from
must
up
have been
there
awesome.
in Waterbury Center. Really beautiful place. Really chill, except for Thanksgiving where there was like 18 family members. You know, and for the sake of this pod, they're all fantastic people. It was great to see them all. Played a lot of cards with my 89-year-old champion of a grandmother. So that was a good time. Watched some dog show too. You know, the American Kennel Club dog show was on. Where they those dog. What's the dog show called? Where they're walking around in a circle and the breeds get each dog gets judged for the standards of their breed. It was amazing. You should check this out, Ryan.
Yeah, this doesn't come up in my guide either, Ryan.
Yeah, I sincerely have no idea what you're talking about. It sounds like something Shannon would be super into.
Honestly, it is some high-level nonsense. It's just total, it's like one of those things that's really boring, but you can't really stop looking. Some incredible dogs. But anyway, so we did that, played a lot of cards.
That's like what Formula One feels like to me at this point. Derek's still super into Formula One.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, it's pretty hard to watch, but...
Yeah. Are you into Formula One, Luke?
No, I'm not like a huge racing guy. I think that I could, especially if I was live, I think I could go to a F1 race and have a really good time. But I've never really gotten into it, no.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem is it's cost prohibitive as a fan to see live events in F1. It's like a one percenter board, if you want to call it that, if there ever was one.
That's got to be right at the top, right? I
don't think talking about comparisons between what it costs to buy a car and race in the third tier versus going to a race, and it was comparable for 3 races. It's just absurd.
Whoa, that's crazy. I also assume it's a very 1%er sport. Is it a sport? Anyway,
it is.
It's a motor sport.
It's a very 1%er activity to get involved in, I would imagine, right? Because you have to have a car. You have to have parents who could buy you
sponsorships, a whole lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of a little bit of a segue. We should have a pod in the future where we discuss sport versus games and see where we all draw.
You don't think that one's been reached enough?
I have very strong opinions on this.
Yeah, I feel like we could we could not be friends after that conversation. I feel like the listeners might love that.
Yeah.
Our millions of listeners.
Yeah, Luke probably took offense to my post mocking the bottom of the table, saying they were playing badminton, because I bet Luke's a hell of a badminton player.
I'm really good at ping pong, not badminton.
We could maybe do that. We're probably due for an international break here in a week or two, so we could do it then.
Sounds right.
Another one around the corner.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, did you get some? Did you get some maple syrup? I wanted to ask this when you were talking about Vermont.
I did.
Yeah.
There's this right outside of Stowe. There's this place called Cold Hollow Cidery. I mean, they make maple cider, and my favorite, I love apple cider from this place.
Okay.
So I bought a bunch of apple cider and a good amount of maple syrup just for the.
Are you from there?
Yeah. So, well, I'm not personally. My mom grew up in Waterbury Center, Vermont. So my grandparents have a pretty big house on the side of a mountain.
You're also from Jersey, right?
Jersey, mostly, yeah. Massachusetts a little bit, but yeah, mostly grew up in New Jersey.
Paul, after everyone left we did like a Friendsgiving at my place on Saturday, and after everybody left, this guy who's friends with Shannon, Paul, he was like, I don't understand why there's so much hate for Jersey, and he's also from Jersey.
I'm from Northeast Jersey, so I'm like right on the Hudson River in Jersey City, so it's kind of a different culture. Like, if it's not New York City by any means, like I'm not one of those fucking people who are like, no, I'm actually from New York City, but I'm not. But like Central Jersey, South Jersey, there's a lot of places to hate.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke's right. Like, where he is entirely different from where I grew up, like 25 miles away.
Right. Yeah. I just wish it was too bad Derek wasn't there.
But part of what prompted that, I'm sure, was me shitting all over New Jersey for like 30 minutes.
He was like, I don't understand the hate for Jersey. And I was like, yes, you do. You absolutely understand the hate. Like, the place is a joke, and it had a joke of a TV show that just soured everyone's opinion on it for.
Honestly, I watched the first season of Jersey Shore probably a month ago. That shit stands up. It is fucking hilarious and ridiculous, but also has almost nobody from New Jersey in it. Like, none of those people are from New Jersey except one of them.
Good point.
They're all from Long Island. Yeah, they're all from Long Island or like Eastern Pennsylvania.
Well, yeah, I have strong opinions about Eastern Pennsylvania as well. So
I'm shocked.
Let's keep going until we lose anyone who could possibly listen to this podcast.
You know, New Jersey has fantastic youth football, though, like youth soccer.
Jersey? Yeah. So is Pennsylvania. I mean, that's where Pulisic's from.
Yeah, except, actually, I was in Pittsburgh like a week and a half ago. Fantastic place. I might have mentioned it on the pod.
You did.
Yeah, really loved it. So I shouldn't shit on Pittsburgh too much, but the rest of Pennsylvania.
I will shit on Pittsburgh for...
Yeah, I've heard enough about Pennsylvania already on this podcast.
Yeah,
right.
So let's transition.
I might just get off the pod.
Yeah, every so often I watch Dark Knight Rises so I can watch Heinz Field get blown up again. All right. Yeah, let's we had a exciting, I guess, week of fixtures. Didn't go great for anyone on this podcast, but let's dig right in and talk about Chelsea and Newcastle.
Oh no! We suck again.
Yeah.
That was actually a clip of me watching the game. First half, yeah.
There was so much hope.
No.
Are you sure about that?
One of us was full of hope.
Yeah, I would say that the fan base was starting to feel hopeful. Like, the vibes were turning
with you
a
as
corner.
their spokesman. Yes,
It I mean, like Cole
Ryan's
Palmer
really
got a call up to the national team. We played really well against City. We're good for a win in that game. Like nobody would have questioned if we pulled that off. We beat the shit out of Tottenham, and like I said, reset them to factory settings. So we'll talk about that here in a minute.
It'd be it's good to get out of factory settings in the first place.
Yeah, that's true. But
were you surprised to see Nicholas Jackson's run towards Player of the Month kind of slow down?
Oh man.
Yeah, I think I said it. I'm sure I've said it on the pod. I definitely said it in a text. This was the exact kind of game that Chelsea's really poised to lose. Newcastle is the exact kind of team that Pochettino teams historically struggle against, especially in the beginning of his tenures. Yeah, teams that can sit back, defend and play really physical football. At the beginning, if you look at the beginning of Poch's tenure at Tottenham for sure, and at Southampton, like those teams were really the ones he's struggling against until the second season. So this was a perfect game for them to lose. Really, it was really set up for it. As far as I saw it.
So here's why I kind of so I agree with what you're saying. Chelsea struggles against those types of teams.
Pochettino teams, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Against those kinds of teams.
So right, and so Chelsea in their current form, they struggle against those types of teams. But I don't think that's how Newcastle played against Chelsea. Like they came at Chelsea and they have so many injuries on defense that I don't think they could really afford to sit back in this game. I think they have like two defenders left.
Let's share, right? Lascelles. Yeah. I think Lascelles is like a preeminent Premier League kind of defender who can play a lower block. And I think you're right. Newcastle didn't play that low of a block, but they certainly didn't play a high line. They were willing to accept possession at points. And then I think the ability of Newcastle to cross the ball was really hard for Chelsea to deal with, I thought.
Yes. Yeah.
Also like that giveaway by Silva would never happen. That's like 1 in a million, so you can kind of give that one away. Really the worrying thing about Chelsea's performance was like the Reece James capitulation, and
that was so bad.
The general just kind of like they lost a certain amount of maturity in the game, which will happen.
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying this on this podcast, but I haven't verified it. But I believe Chelsea are the youngest team in the PL right now. I think that's true. And if you remove Silva, they are by far the youngest team in the PL. So yeah, this is the type of thing that will happen when you're not you're not like a headstrong, mature team. James, that was concerning what he did. And the stat that I saw, it's like in the last 3 years, he has not played 3 league games in a row or something like it was some crazy stat like that. And this will guarantee that it doesn't happen again until 2024 or something. So he'll have a ban in the next game, and then he will be back for 2 fixtures before the end of the calendar year.
Well, in the fairness to him, he wasn't taking a siesta like Cucurella was doing on the left side, at least.
Cucurella did not look good. Nobody looked good. Sanchez looked shaky at times. Silva made the error. Badiashile looked okay to me. We really missed Caicedo at the beginning.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I guess he was the last to return from international break, so they were resting him. And then James poor. Sterling, I thought, looked the best on the team again. He didn't. If you could pick a best, I guess, out of this.
Well, exactly. Like if that's the best, then like it's no surprise that like we're struggling, right?
Who's your favorite if you had to pick a favorite, like a standout from this season, who would you say, Derek?
Palmer.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think Gallagher looked good in this game. Palmer looked okay. He didn't look as good as he did in the previous 2 games for me.
Well, I think we fucked up the midfield flow with Caicedo not starting, and then it just kind of went kind of shitty from there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Enzo can't really be like relied on to be a main holding player. I think he needs to be a little bit more of a number 8 where he has freedom to drive, and he didn't seem to be doing that quite as much. I think partially because Caicedo wasn't in the team. And I think because of that, Cole Palmer suffered. He didn't have a cutting edge really in the game. Didn't have an outlet, I thought. Cole Palmer was the biggest disappointment in that match to me. But Sterling looked good, and Palmer has looked good in the season. I would agree with Derek that Palmer probably has been the most interesting player in a Chelsea team that has mostly looked, I don't know, not boring, but on the edge of that. The cutting edge is what's missing from the team. The team can possess. It's just getting a little maturity in the team. Like you said, the youngest team in the Premier League, and a cutting edge. I think those are 2 things that are needed right now. And a Newcastle is a team who will take advantage of that, especially with the physicality in the midfield. And they do have Newcastle has something about them. They're a really good team. There's no doubt about it. I think we can shit on Chelsea, but we also have to say Newcastle with a shredded team is playing pretty well. Like they're getting results.
They aren't. They lost to who did they lose to last week?
But they're performing pretty well. Like everybody's losing. Like every team in the Premier League right now is losing matches you wouldn't expect them to. Right. But I think Newcastle is staying in there. They're keeping competitive. They're going to lose games. Everybody's going to lose games. But I think in terms of if you look down to the trajectory of the season and with which teams are performing, Newcastle is definitely up there.
Yeah. So Newcastle is a good team. I don't disagree with that. But like this is like Bournemouth was able to take advantage of Newcastle's injury crisis in that game, and Chelsea was not able to. And that's kind of the comparison I'm making here. Like,
I think that's because we're not good.
Yeah, I know you've been saying.
Well, what is the way that Chelsea's like? I think the results against Spurs and City aside, they're getting some results, but it's just not. There's no level of consistency in the team.
Yeah.
Right? So what is the step to get there? And maybe Osimhen is the answer. I don't really think Osimhen's the answer. I think he'll score more goals than a pitiful Nicholas Jackson, but I don't think that's the answer in the team. I think it's just time.
I think Nkunku is going to make a huge difference.
Nkunku will make a huge Nkunku and Osimhen. So I threw on the notes that the Osimhen rumors are now out of control. Like it's virtually a lock now that Chelsea are going in. They're going to do everything they can to bring Osimhen in the transfer window in January. Every major reporter for this team is reporting that they are doing that, like over the last 2 days. So that's going to be a big story here in the coming weeks, I guess. So there's that, which I think would help. But yeah, gelling, and honestly, Pochettino being in the stands and not on the sideline probably makes a big difference for a team that is so young and devoid of leaders on the pitch.
Jesus Perez does not have the same kind of presence.
Yeah. So I think you see the impact of that a lot more on a young team that has no cohesion and no locker room hierarchy established, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know. Osimhen could help. Obviously, I have my doubts about him. We've talked about that. And and then Pochettino, I threw another note on here. He bumped right up against questioning James as a captain. He was very pissed at the dumb fouls that James gave away, and he in the last day, I think, made a statement that he wants that the team lacks, what did he say? They lack an edge, and he's looking to his captain to establish that edge. And like, without naming James, but
yeah, and I get that, right? Like, because I mean, you can't. I mean, obviously, that behavior he's reacting to it, and you can't fault him for that. But at the same time, like, I watch how hard James plays and what he tries to do to create, and I don't know like where else you pass that baton. Sterling looks confused, as he has his entire career, about whether the pass or shoot every time he gets on the ball. Which, you know, at this point, it kind of is what it is. And beyond that, like, who else are you looking at? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Palmer's the one showing the most leadership, stepping up and banging in PKs. Outside of that, like, I don't know who else. Maybe it's Fernandez, but like,
Chili's injured, but I think Chile has a lot of leadership qualities.
Fair.
I don't know when he's
in general, the question is like, what is the right balance for the locker room? Chelsea, for the past years, like 2-3 seasons, have really had imbalances in the locker room, whether it's not leadership from the manager, a lack of leadership from the manager, or a glut of players. Which actually, I think that the Osimhen, I think rumors are all good, but what kind of dynamic is he going to bring to that?
I'm really rich.
Yeah. What kind of dynamic will he bring to a club with 2 other strikers in it? That's 3 strikers, maybe 2.5 if Nkunku could play out wide. Like what's the dynamic there? And I think that it's just like the chemistry is not right now.
Well, they're going to sell Broja to pay for Osimhen. I guess Milan is the big rumor with him. So that would
make sense.
They'll sell him for like 30 to 40 million and use that to cover the first year and a half of the amortized payments for Osimhen.
Well, and that's the other question is as Chelsea become more not desperate, but more active, more desperate for players to kind of fix the situation and get into the Champions League, are other clubs going to accept that payment structure anymore? I don't know. I think it's an interesting question. Is someone going to take $70 million over 7 years or whatever it is? Or do they want it all up front? And can Chelsea's books handle that? Is it
the club side that matters? I think that the way it works for financial fair play is it's amortized over the length of the contract that the player signs with the club. And then that gets even better. They like double dip if they can convince the selling club to accept like some sort of payment over 2-3 years.
Yeah. Well, the question is, will clubs continue to accept those structures?
Yeah, but if Chelsea buys Osimhen for 120 million euros or whatever, what's the record? It was it'd be the 3rd time Chelsea breaks the record or something. Anyway, if you were to
240,
if you were to amortize
money doesn't matter
over 5 or 6 years, it's going to be like 20 million a year or something like that. Like, so that's the game they're playing, but obviously they become really stretched and they can't do this forever. Like, the gamble is they're like, if we sign all these young players, we won't have to go into the market really for years. And I don't know. Like, they're looking at the stability of the stability of Man United, the stability of Man City, and they want to replicate that, where they don't have a lot of moving pieces season to season. They have like a very established squad. I don't know.
You have to have a manager like Pep Guardiola to do that.
Yeah. Poch is not that guy. I don't think. We'll see. No. Yeah. He's good for now because he's generally good at coaching young teams. But yeah, let's talk about Tottenham.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of this game. I watched all of this game. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. A lot has happened this weekend.
Yeah, man.
I
Really
remember...
disappointing result, obviously. I'm not so much in the gloom and doom because I feel a little bit like I've been talking about this since the beginning of the season. It was a bad result. It was a good performance. I cannot believe we put out 2 fullbacks as center backs. When I saw that,
I liked it.
What I think it was a statement of intent saying we're not going to fucking play like we did against Wolves. Like, even if we lose 5-0, we're just not going to do it. I think we had chances. I think we deserved to win the game. I think Aston Villa is a really good team. I think we were a little unlucky, and we have 10? Talk about crisis. We have 10 senior players that are injured. Bentancur got hurt again, and a couple suspensions.
How bad was that? I don't know that I saw his injury.
Information hasn't come out. Matty Cash had a bad challenge on him, really bad, and it's not his knee; it's his ankle. So we'll see.
Okay.
And he was running the game. Like, it was a really open game in those first 30 minutes, but Spurs looked the better side. Probably could have been up 2-3-0 in the first 15 minutes. And really the injury to Bentancur, I think, was the game changer. Obviously, they score off a free kick, which is not surprising because we have no one of any kind of height in the team.
Yeah.
Which was amazing to see. I think that we're going to go on a little... I think we're going to lose a couple more games here. We've got City and Newcastle up, and then West Ham after that. So I think it's going to be a real hard road, but I kind of have faith in the process. The way we played, I think, with the team we had. Brian Gill is not good enough. Gio Lo Celso looked good. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, what do you think you do here in January? You probably sell the whole squad, right?
Probably, no. Christian Romero, while a hothead, incredible defender. Van der Ven, incredible defender. Our problem is that our first 11 is as good as, as anyone, maybe obviously City aside. It's really after that 11 where we have a total fall off. It's just it's been exposed. Højbjerg needs to go, Dyer needs to go, and we need some depth. That's just what it is.
Yeah, Kulusevski looked pretty good. The Butcher of North London, he was offside like 4 times.
For 3 goals.
I thought it was 4.
Yeah, doesn't matter at that point. Oh my God.
Is this the type of, if you had Harry Kane still, do you think you win this game?
Well, I think we should have won it without Harry Kane. I don't know. I think the real problems aren't going forward. The real problems are our lack of depth on our back line, and now in center mid because we've lost so many players. Like the real problem is in the back 4. It's not going forward. The amount of chances we created was outstanding.
Yeah,
I would go with you, Ryan, and say that Harry Kane would have stayed on side at least once out of 3 tries.
And Sonny's touches were really bad in the game. Yeah, he's not been impressing me with his interplay, but oh well. I think we do need a center forward. There's no doubt about it.
And then might I suggest a center back in the winter? I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
If you guys can spare the
2
cash.
Is there any word on Van de Ven, like the length of
It'll be right after the new year. Right after the new year right now. Madison looking like right after like right in Christmas. Hopefully he'll be back. So we're really in for you name the players that are hurt or suspended, and we're really struggling.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not so doom and gloom because I think the process is very clear. The way we're playing is very clear, and it's fun to watch. And after having 3 years of Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte, and Nuno Espirito Santo, it's like whatever. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna do it, and it's entertaining. Though I do think that Postecoglou has got to learn that keeping a lead in the Premier League is something to focus on. I think we're too open after we go in the lead. The stat that's scary is we've lost 3 in a row, and in every single game we've led. That's a problem. So we'll see if he can react to that. I think I don't think we're challenging for. I think I'm on record saying we're never going to challenge for the title, but I think we're still in for 4th or 5th. If we had 5th place, I'd take.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I am. What are your expectations for Chelsea? Like 12th?
We're
I
gonna stay out of
have
relegation.
no idea.
Well, and this is kind of the great part, Derek. I feel like you put in here, will Spurs win another game this season? We don't have to because we probably wouldn't go down anyway.
There won't be another manager of the month.
Yeah, 3 in a row, and then you lose 3 in a month.
Yeah, you really front loaded that.
Yeah, we need our team back. That's the truth of it.
Kulusevski looked good
in a central midfield position too.
Yep.
Yeah, dude's good.
Yeah.
So awkward.
Yep. Yeah, Shannon watched this game, part of it, and she had things to say about Kulusevski that weren't related to soccer. But
which is a bit out of character for sure.
Really out of character.
See, blatant character and physical assassination going on.
Yeah.
In real time.
It's like, did you get enough sleep last night, or what's going on here? Yeah. Anyway, I thought he looked very bright. Generally.
Lo Celso's the one that I was excited about because he's really the only one in the team that you could kind of go 1-to-1 in terms of a substitution with Madison.
Was Basuma suspended in this one?
He got too many yellow cards and was suspended for which was why Bentancur was playing in that holding position.
Gotcha.
I think the hope is that Bentancur and Basuma can play in the same team with Madison. That's a midfield that I think could challenge any midfield in the Premier League. But we'll see if they're ever not injured at the same time.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough season, man. And it's not. I've talked about how I play a lot of Football Manager, and they have been simming, or not simming. They've included the format for the Champions League starting next season and the Club World Cup, and it fucking boggles the mind that the expectation is that these players can keep up the number of games a year.
To counter that, have you added like a third center back to any of your squads?
Yeah, I generally carry a couple more than Tottenham does. So
3.
Yeah. Anyway, it's like crazy.
It's definitely a league where anybody can lose on any week. Which is exciting, at the top end of the Premier League, things are close. Like it's only 5 points between number 1 and number 6 or whatever.
Yeah,
so it's exciting.
Martinez had a game. He made some crazy saves.
His save on Højbjerg is fucking world class.
Yeah, there was one of the fucking Man United Twitter accounts that I troll recreationally.
All right, wait, everyone.
They were like,
so you have admitted to being a recreational troll on live air.
I'm like,
I don't think anyone
I would
was
say
ever
I'm a
writing it.
professional troll. Actually. Anyway, so this guy was like, should in the January window, should Man United bring Martinez in as the number 2 to Onana? And I was like, what the fuck are you like? He would unseat Onana instantly. Like he's a World Cup winning.
There's probably
goalie.
only 2 goalies in the entire league that he definitely wouldn't unseat.
Yeah,
Martinez is incredible.
Allison
and Allison and Anderson. That's it.
Yeah.
My favorite part of this is that like it's such the quintessential thing to hear from a Man United fan, and the fact that this account continues to just provide you fodder on a regular basis is just amazing to me.
Do they reply?
Your average, I did with that.
Do they reply to you?
No. I think most Twitter accounts. I'm gonna sound like such a fucking boomer, man. So I'm new to social media.
And I really like it.
No, I love it.
And the temperature I've taken on Twitter is that there's almost zero value in like replying to people. Like the value is almost in making these idiotic statements that people like me chime in on. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just Colin Robinson banging away on the keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my read, is that like they're probably saying these things just to encourage people like me to weigh in like that. But the Man United fan base is fucking brain dead on the whole. Like they are really fucking stupid, and I don't care if they're listening. Their team sucks, and I don't think they understand much. Is my read on Man United.
No, I think they're legitimately over there excited watching Mason Greenwood score goals in whatever league it is and tier he's playing in.
Yeah, let's bounce to that real quick, and then we'll talk about City and Liverpool, since I'm already on one about United and their fans. They met expectations against Everton. They did look good in this game. And I just wanted to mention the Garnacho goal.
Something totally different. You have to have so much fucking cojones, as Gordon Ramsay would say. You have to have fucking nuts to do that.
With a name like Garnacho.
Yeah. That was
so good.
That is the goal of the season. Like, I can't imagine a goal being like us getting to witness a better goal than that this year. It was
Puskas for sure.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from the distance he was, the how hard he hit it, incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his sort of demeanor after he did that was pretty remarkable too. Like he was like, yeah, of course I scored that. Like at least was my read on his body language. Like, yeah. So that was cool to see. Harry Maguire is playing good soccer. Sorry, Derek. I
think I'm on record saying he was their best center forward for a couple weeks.
Yes,
based on where
you have
deployed.
said that.
Yeah, I know.
Good for him though. You got to kind of give it up to a guy who's taking so much shit. You know,
from us.
His mom's real proud of him.
Derek she always was, Derek. Didn't you know that? No, like playing well, you know. I feel like the kind of personality you need to overcome losing the Manchester United captaincy and continuing to plug away, you got to commend that.
Yeah.
He's still a fucking accident waiting to happen.
Yes.
But when it doesn't happen, he's a good footballer.
Yep. Yeah, those were the only two things I really wanted to mention here. I did like the announcers trying to drum this game up like it was going to be
meaningful.
Something spectacular. Like they just kept talking about how pissed Everton were going to be about the deduction and
I thought Everton played pretty well. They created a ton of chances in the first half. Very easily could have been a little closer. Could have been a little bit of closer match. If I thought Calvert-Lewin looked pretty good actually. It obviously didn't take the chances, so maybe not that good. But I didn't think Everton looked bad. I think there's something about Everton that will come good even with the points deduction.
Yeah, I think they'll live, but we'll see. The bottom three are so bad, which I guess we're going to talk about here soon. City Liverpool. Thoughts?
Pretty boring. Not that exciting of a match.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't seem like I think Liverpool really wanted to cut the football out of the match. They just wanted to be broken a little bit more than I expected them to, which was it worked. Good tactic against City, and City are not free flowing right now.
Yeah.
They really missed De Bruyne.
Yeah. Their bench is brutal. Like there's nothing to go to. They have no solutions to do anything to try and change the game. And that's where, I think that's why Liverpool was able to just kind of
no
enact a
subs.
plan.
He made no subs.
Yeah, and Liverpool made all 5.
Yep.
Fascinating that Pep didn't trust anybody.
Stones was on the bench. Huh.
Yeah, he's probably not fit enough yet.
Yeah,
Stones is so important to them. It's like put some saran wrap and some bubble wrap around him and keep him in the corner.
Yeah. Their bench is not good. Where is? Yeah, man, weird
I still
stuff.
feel like with those starters though, like I don't know, like they should have, in my mind, they should have been able to exert themselves in this game. I mean, they did from a possession standpoint, but couldn't get the result. So,
yeah, I think they did, right? They did well with possession, I think.
Grealish being out of the team, I think, really hurt them in this game. I think that Grealish would have started if he wasn't sick. I think he had an illness before the game. I think Grealish starts here, so Man City has more control. And then Doku's the sub that comes on and changes the game if they need to.
Yeah. Doku's tough to drop right now, though.
I think it's a real toss-up between the two. I think Grealish has been playing well. He just hasn't been getting the headlines because he's not the new player. I also don't think Akanji is as... I think at times, like when Pep comes up with these clever ideas, like bringing center backs into the center of the pitch, and he loses the player that can do that really effectively, he tries to force players into that. Yeah. And Akanji didn't seem comfortable. He didn't turn on that, like he didn't make half turns really at all. And they was really stodgy in the middle of the pitch. But I don't think that anybody should be worried about City. After Christmas, they're going to do what they always do and win.
Yeah.
3 months of fucking matches in a row.
Yeah. There's something to be said about, I'm like chewing on what you just said, and Pep, he sort of takes a lot of autonomy out of his players, and it is very much a system. He's like he's a drill sergeant, right? Like he breaks you down so he can build you back up. And that's why you see, Doku's an exception to the rule, but generally you see like Grealish came to the team and he wasn't starting a whole lot. It was this long build up to him becoming established. And I think my guess is that's why is he's so, like, you have to play exactly how he wants you to play. And that's what you're signing up for. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that they really miss De Bruyne, obviously. I think he's coming back around Christmas. I may be wrong on that. But, it's just like kind of an early City team. It always kind of feels like this the past couple seasons, I think. And even Holland doesn't seem full flow yet. The one that's impressed me a lot is Phil Foden. That dude in the between spaces, like in between the right back and the center back, he finds these pockets that are just like incredible, and his touch is fucking outrageous.
Yeah,
like he is so fucking good.
I was on one early. I didn't think Foden was starting enough for this team, and
you may have been right about that.
Yeah, he seems to just be established now, where he was. I think the De Bruyne injury, and I guess it would have been Mahrez leaving, probably helped him get a lot more playing time. But
yeah, he used. I don't know. Pep seemed to bring him on so slowly, which I guess is an approach. But I would like to see him play inside a little bit more, like where Bernardo Silva's playing. I don't think they get quite as much out of Silva as they used to, or at least didn't seem to in this game. But
following along that, right? Do you think that letting Cole Palmer go was a bad move in the context of this game?
I don't know.
I think Cole Well, I believe Cole Palmer came out with an interview this week saying that it was really Cole Palmer who was like, I want to go. I think it was really a push by Cole Palmer and his team to get out of City because he didn't see himself playing.
I think that's accurate.
He knew that Foden was established. When they saw Doku, or when he saw Doku come in, I think that's when he was like, I've got a long way to go before I'm established on this team, and that's why he decided to go. It's my understanding.
Really good for the Premier League that was a tie. I was really excited about that.
Yep.
Want to keep it competitive here.
For some reason, Derek wants to talk about Burnley. What do you have to?
Did I put that on there by accident? Oh no, I guess I did put that on there. I think I just wanted to talk about how bad they are.
Yeah.
And again, like, I think you've been very consistent. At one point, I thought early in the season, I thought they would be the first one out of relegation, but I think they've proven me wrong pretty consistently from the moment I said that. So yeah, I don't know, not a lot to talk about there.
Players just aren't good enough in that team. It's kind of like, and Vincent Kompany hasn't shown the ability to kind of adjust at all. It's kind of like what we were just talking about Pep and like how rigid he is, and Postecoglou at Spurs, like how rigid he is. He won't shift, but Burnley just doesn't have players to do that with.
Yeah.
Sure.
If they want,
because how do you not protect that lead, right?
Yeah, against a West Ham team that is pretty good going forward, but mostly a counter-attacking team.
Right. Yep.
You know?
So you think you'd be able to set up to fight that, right?
Yeah, and Burnley's just not good. You're right.
But power to your point, power to West Ham for forcing that win through. I mean, that was a great comeback. And I guess that was the other reason I noticed this, is just having watched that live. Like, I was pretty confident, based on the shit talking I was doing with Shannon, that West Ham was going to at least tie it up with the time left. But they left it late. I forget exactly when the game winner was scored, but both great goals to come back there. So, West Ham, definitely one of those mid-table teams that's going to keep fighting for points. So,
long live David Moyes. He's kind of like the Harry Maguire of managers. Like, in terms of this, if you were to put Harry Maguire this season in a larger context, like, David Moyes was really shit on for a number of years, and especially after what happened at United. And he's really done some great things at that club.
Yeah.
Ward-Prowse, we've talked about, great team.
It's kind of like history has now shown that like that organization was probably more of a problem than he was.
Yep.
Yeah, likely. Though I will always say that Sir Alex Ferguson, despite being obviously one of the best managers to ever live, did not leave that Manchester United team in a great position. And I think that it just keeps going on every year. It's the same fucking bullshit.
He timed that perfectly.
Yeah, fucking smart asshole.
All right, Brighton and Nottingham. This was a fun game to watch for sure. I thought this game, and I thought the Fulham game that just aired right before this, I caught that entire game. I thought both of them were pretty good as like a neutral. They were fun to watch. But
yeah, it was good to see a competitive game here, to see more out of Forest. Longa continues to kind of reinforce what we've said about his impact. And then I don't know if anyone else is playing Where's Waldo, but there's a Callum Hudson-Odoi sighting.
Oh, yeah,
coming
he's
in
subbed
there,
on.
the impact of the game.
Let's go.
Out of nowhere, back in there. So with that, that front three, that team has the bite. I think that I thought they were going to have a little bit earlier in the season to be competitive in these matches against better teams, but Brighton, showing their quality and getting the win despite Lewis Dunk pulling going full Serginho Dest or Reece James in the middle of the game. And
did you hear what he did?
I did
no,
not.
I didn't. Can we say it on air?
He told Anthony Taylor after he awarded that penalty that he's a bald cunt.
Oh, that's not that bad. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, see, the British are more
Just
liberal.
such a British thing to say.
Yeah, exactly. Like that is the very British thing.
But he just solid like if Brighton ever has kits in stock again, which they've been sold out from like August to today, I think Dunk solidified the fact that he'll be the kit that I get with that. Like we've talked about Anthony Taylor quite a bit, and he deserves that and more. So
I think Brighton is not going to be, I think Brighton's season is not going to be determined on these weeks that they have. I guess they're coming back from international break, but really the Chelsea game next week, games like that where they play a midweek game.
I can't wait for.
I think that's a game. So that is the perfect game. That's a game that Chelsea really is poised to win. The type of team won, and Brighton's playing EK Athens on the week and during the week on Thursday. Mm-hmm. Brighton's going to struggle to come back from those kinds of matches.
Yeah, they're getting a little bit healthier, but they're not there yet.
Yeah, and so. it could be Chelsea. It could be I don't know, Sheffield United, whoever. Really, those midweek games are going to kill them.
Yeah. What are the standouts for next week? Newcastle, Man United will be fun. Chelsea, Brighton.
Spurs are playing Man City.
That's a big game.
That's going to be rough, man.
You're going to get demolished. I can't wait. I'm going to have to clear my schedule for that. You want to come over?
Yeah, dude. Why not? I'll come.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit.
I've got plenty of bourbon.
I will drink all of your whiskey.
Yeah, can we talk about... Yeah, as an aside, we do need to find time to watch more soccer at Ryan's because there's way too much liquor there. And it's not... Yeah, I'm not even that into bourbon, but there's so much other stuff. And even at that point, I might as well drink the bourbon. It just needs to be consumed. I feel
it's like taxes for all the bullshit that he says.
Yeah, there should be some of that, too.
This Chelsea season is starting to open Derek's mind to bourbon.
New types of ways of hurting myself. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. We'd like live stream one of the games, just see what's said.
I want to get a setup where we can do that, like actually live stream. Like do like a viewership party. Something like that. Yeah. That's like a thing that I've seen other, much more established podcasts than us do. So I think we could do it and be funny.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, Brentford.
The other thing I saw as a standout, or I guess one of the things I'm seeing more, is a little bit more out of João Pedro.
Yeah, he is really good.
I thought it was a good
soccer player.
Yeah, I thought it was something that when I was kind of digging deep to go through all the signings at the beginning of the season, like that was one that kind of stood out as an interesting one, just because it was, Brighton identifies talent at good value, right? And so he had produced, I forget where he was before, but it seemed like somebody that would figure into that offense. And it took him a while to kind of get integrated and going, but now I think with all of their fixtures and stuff, they're really going to need to lean on him, and he showed up in this game.
Yeah, those Brighton guys know how to do talent ID. Yeah. Adingra is really good, man. Ferguson had a very good finish. Gross with 2 assists. Yeah. Did
Gross have 2 assists in this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's probably my favorite player to on that team. Just does so many things to help.
Yeah. And Pedro scored from open play and a pen. So yeah.
Brentford Arsenal.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick.
And your boy Havertz.
Yep, I put guess who on the notes here. He scores the game-winning goal. What?
It's like the comeback of the dumpster fire players.
Yeah,
scores some winning goals. Let's be Harry Maguire doing whatever the fuck he does. It's like
a little bit of everything. Ramsdale, the only reason I wanted to bring this game up, well, one, like, let me pull up the who scored here. So
I don't know what the fuck Arteta expects out of a goalie when you've destroyed his confidence.
Yeah, that's why I put it on here.
And
Yeah.
it's just
You're
like,
saying exactly what I wanted to say.
I feel for Ramsdale. Like I like he needs to get the fuck out of there. Fuck Arteta. Like I feel like I've always hated Arteta. I think he's a princey little fuck who like tweezes his eyebrows too much. But I but the way that he's treated Ramsdale, dude, those eyebrows are like perfect. The way that he has fucking treated Ramsdale is an abomination. Like just get him out of the team. Don't fucking string him along.
Yeah.
And then throw him in one, and then, he did he said he was courageous at the end, but shut the fuck up.
Do you know the only reason Ramsdale started this? I didn't know that Raya was alone. He's alone to Arsenal.
He's alone. Yeah.
I had no idea. And that's the only reason
I don't even know if there's an
Ramsdale...
option to buy.
I don't think there is. I dug into this. I was trying to find that out, but I don't think there is. I think they have to negotiate that still. They obviously want to. He's become their default number one, and there's got to be some. Yeah, there's got to be some agreement there. But yeah, it's bizarre, man. I feel bad for Ramsdale. We'll take him at Chelsea for sure. I don't think Arsenal would deal him to us.
Really well. He should be challenging Pickford for the starting England job. There's no
I agree.
He's not. But yeah, it just blows my mind.
He's that's the only position that Spurs don't need, actually.
Yeah, Vicario's fucking good.
Yeah. They could sell everybody else, but Vicario is the truth.
I like you've admitted
He's
like
the truth.
one Spurs player.
He's really good, man. Yeah.
He's a fucking
I
spider.
think I made you guys traded a 6-pack of beer for him, and he's been the standout goalie for me so far this season.
Yeah, definitely an unexpected package.
I think when I say standout, I mean I expected nothing, and he's been really
fantastic.
really good.
I hope that Ramsdale can find a new team in January and push on with them.
Dude, I don't know how you can do this to someone. Like, you have the best season you've had in years, and a lot of it behind the solid play from Ramsdale or the solid play of Ramsdale. And then I think you had a couple issues at the end of the season, like made a couple mistakes, and you replace him with a player you don't even own. Like, you're loaning a keeper and then only start him when you're forced to.
Well, he's trying to be fucking smart. Like, there's this I don't know anecdote that if you're a top manager, you find better players and replace the ones who have been doing really well for you. You know? A little bit. I don't think Doku and Grealish are really in the same category because they're very different players, and they're not just fighting for one position, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But there's this kind of fallacy that's Arteta's not even trying to make Ramsdale better. He just said, "Fuck you. We've had the best season of my life. I'm gonna go get someone better and not give you a chance to keep your spot. Get out of here." I don't know. Fuck
Remarkable.
Arteta. I fucking hate Mikel Arteta.
So Yanks in the ranks. Derek, you've got some stuff queued up here, but I'll say I watched. Did you guys watch that Fulham game?
I did not. I was
no.
Did I pull up the who scored for this?
Selling whiskey over here.
Yeah.
Got things to do.
I was curious, so I watched it, and there were Anthony Robinson and Ream. They both made errors. Yeah, Ream got a 5.9. Where's Robinson? So he had an assist, so he got a 7.3. Robinson got absolutely cooked for the second goal of the game. Like, he got torched defensively. And
by Huang, or who do you know?
I think it was Semedo.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Although
Kuno scored the other.
It must
goal.
have been Bellegarde because he got an assist. Yeah. It was an assist to... I forget who. Anyway, all I remember is that Robinson got flushed by whoever he was one-on-one with, and it led like the there was a cross after that led to a goal. The commentators, sorry, at the match, what are they, the studio commentators, whatever, that they go to at halftime, they said that it was obvious that Wolves identified Robinson as a weakness and were going at him deliberately, and then played that replay and were like, here it pays off, like he just obviously doesn't have it defensively, was the commentary around that. Robinson, however, was the first assist to Iwobi, and it was phenomenal play by him. So like going forward, he looked really good. And then Ream committed a really poor, dumb challenge in the box to give up a penalty to Wolves. They ended up winning the game, but yeah, Ream, I think it's funny. I have this knack for praising people right before they fuck up, and nobody was here watching the game with me, but I was thinking about how solid Ream looked, and then moments after I had those thoughts and was thinking that I would bring that to the podcast today, he did that.
Your dumbass, it wasn't the one. You weren't the dumbass that put it in the blog post. That was me. And so I think I talked about how like everybody else has been like struggling at their clubs, and I was like, but Robinson and Ream were solid and steady, and so much for that, right? So now like I don't know where you go with that. I mean, it's just like the U.S. men's national team is a shit show in club form at the moment. I don't know
at
what
the
will
moment. Yes.
happen.
I think that Fulham back line, like Ream holds so much responsibility to act like an adult because what's his name, Bassie or Cassie next to him, number 3 on that team. I feel like he gives up a goal or gives a pass away for a goal every single game. So maybe it's just time. I think Ream overall has been really solid.
Yep.
I also think Robinson is someone to attack. Like he does go forward better than he defends. And Castagna is a better defender than Robinson probably, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the NBC commentators, like the halftime commentators, sometimes pick out like some super arbitrarily stupid bullshit. They're like, well, one thing happened one time, so we're going to talk about it the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Just sniping one play out of entire 90 minutes.
It's
Being
like,
there
well,
it is.
what about the lung-busting run, like 30-yard run that Robinson made to get that first assist, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, I will say that he didn't look particularly bad to me. I'm trying to find like player-specific stats on here, but anyway, I thought he looked pretty good in the game, but he was just called out at halftime. 1 assist, he had a shot, 2 aerials, 1. Yeah, I don't know. He didn't look that bad to me. So, but they just like sort of roasted him at halftime, and he did get absolutely cooked on that first goal. And I do agree that Ream has been bright this season. He's been solid. And then everybody else is either injured or really, really playing poorly or not being played at all.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a freaking mess. And you know, I guess looping into, you know, winners and losers, you know, one of the ones I picked as a winner coming out of the Trinidad series was Anthony Robinson, not just because of his goal, but I thought he looked like, just looked really imposing in the game, and then he's really assumed a leadership role.
Yeah, it was so really composed in an otherwise like totally erratic team.
He
Right,
called
yeah, like-
Dest out hard.
Him and Reem
after
looked
the game.
absolutely as incensed with Dest
Reem
as
was
Dest
gonna
was at the
fucking
World.
kill him.
911 would have been like,
Yeah.
I hear shots.
Yeah, he
Okay, ma'am,
called.
calm down. What kind of shots?
He called.
Yeah. Somebody needs to disarm Dest.
Yeah, he called Dest out at the end of the game. They interviewed him, and he was like, "That was a moment of extreme unprofessionalism or something." Like he did not hold back at all.
Now, if what Lewis Dunk said was unprofessional, I'd love to know what Dest was saying with his mouth covered.
He
Because
looked like he was crying. He looked like he was like, my mommy is not happy about this, and you're an asshole because of it. Like, fuck. Like, I've never seen a meltdown quite like that.
he'd been getting chippy in a couple of these CONCACAF matches specifically, and like to me it struck me as like how I would eventually react, or like it boiling over the way it all has with all of us that watch CONCACAF officiating, and just the inconsistency and you know the general fuckery that goes on every single match, it seems, where they just pull these guys out of a Cracker Jack box and they're like, you're going to go officiate this match over here. You know, we'll fly you 6,000 miles, and then, you know, they show up and just kind of wing it.
Yeah, well, those players need to see that as part of the challenge. Like, being a,
it's
a
not gonna
footballer
change,
at that
right?
level is like, just fucking deal with it. Especially on the officiating side. I think that the state of that field was probably, and it looked pretty terrible. Like, people were slipping all over the place. I think that is a separate issue a little bit. But again, you just embrace it. Like, you're playing for the national team. Like, you're a fucking professional footballer. You have dealt with worse refs, most likely. Like, just get on with it. Don't lose your mind.
Yeah, and it's not like this will be the last, you know, game you play in CONCACAF with a terrible official and 56 to 78 people in the stands.
Who are all yelling at you. It's almost worse when it's like 50 people, because you can hear all their individual voices, maybe.
Well, in fairness, like, they probably had, you know, they have, you know, English is probably his second language. He probably speaks like 3 or 4 languages because he's educated, but like, you know, with the accents they're throwing at him down there, he probably wasn't even bothered by it. He probably didn't, I was kind of surprised, like, he was trying to communicate with the officials in CONCACAF at all, to be honest.
Well, and like, so going into whatever the next game is that Des plays, I hope he doesn't get called up for a while. Despite being probably our best right back, right? Every single CONCACAF team that he comes in into a match against now is going to prick him. They're going to kick his ankles. They're going to try to get him mad. They're going to call him a fucking pussy. And he's in for shit now. Like, he's going to get the shit for the next, 2-3 years of his playing career in CONCACAF.
Yeah, his only option is to draw yellow cards, not get yellow cards at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, do you think Berhalter brings him back anytime soon, guys?
Yeah. I think so.
What would a bad coach do?
Yeah, I mean,
bring him back immediately.
Yeah, there's no, like, he, as bad as that was, he has, especially in local history, been really important to the team. Like, he has played well for the national team.
Definitely.
Recently. And then Berhalter is not, like, there's a lot of questions being asked about Berhalter and him coming back, and I don't know. I just can't see him making a call that gutsy right now, personally. So yeah, I think he'll bring him back.
Yeah, unless it was to make a point, he made it to about that. But I don't know. Again, like, I don't know that showing up a player, especially if you're Greg Berhalter at this point, is the move that you can stomach. But
yeah, I don't know. I think I fear for the dynamic in the team, which in the the national team level is like paramount. Like, that's number one. If the dynamic in the team is good, you have a chance. I don't, like, what is that going to do, the dynamic in the team, that he comes back after getting screamed at by Tim Ream? It looked like Tim Ream was going to take his broken arm. That seems like it's been broken for like 10 years. It looked like he was going to break the casts. cast on that dude's forehead.
Hulk smash him.
Yeah.
Like how does Matt how does anybody react to that? How does Tim Ream play with him again on the right side?
Well, yeah. Maybe to that point, maybe it's up to them to kind of sort that out amongst the players.
That would probably be what a good coach does.
Yeah. But on that note, where would you put Greg on the winners versus losers coming out of the Trinidad series?
Well, they qualified, right? So
yeah.
What else can you say?
Any win against Trinidad for the U.S. at this point is a good one.
Well,
yeah,
they didn't win, right? They lost 2-1, was it?
Well, that's what I mean.
Aggregate,
they won.
Advanced,
I don't know. I just hope he gets fired soon.
I think that the unfortunate thing in that viewpoint is that Dest's outburst overshadowed what I thought was the stupidity of his team selection and his formation and tactics in that game. And then the result, right? If we just look at the result, you can't take us seriously. We're losing to Trinidad. There's one or two teams that I can see us losing to that I still can't stomach us losing to, but we shouldn't be losing games in CONCACAF.
Yep.
Yeah, I think. Well, he's just Berhalter's naive. Really, the way he goes about matches is naive. But I think he's going to be probably the manager for the next World Cup. I would assume.
Yeah. It's a crying shame, man.
Yeah, I thought, otherwise, I thought Ricardo Pepe's goal was really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's, he may not be happy about it, but him kind of coming off the bench, playing that super sub role, I think is one he's pretty effective at. And I don't know. I saw some conflicting views on Gio. I thought Gio looked really good, kind of churning the midfield again for us. But maybe I don't know what else they're supposed to expect from him in that position, I guess. But in his, his give and go for a goal was a really good one too. So I thought he played well. I don't know if you guys had a differing view or saw much of that.
I think he's probably our best player right now.
Yeah, I'd like to see him playing more for his club.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part, right? It's like you watch those performances, and then we're going to go back and watch him play 20 minutes in the next 2 weeks.
That's the issue. We do have he's obviously very talented, and we're a much better side with him in it. But he's not. He's going to fall off if he's not playing regular soccer, and that's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
I think a move would be good for him.
Yeah, because I don't know what happened. That his playing time precipitously fell off after he got hurt, and I don't.
Well, yeah, he just was unreliable.
Well, that whole Dortmund as a team is unreliable. So I think he's probably the player who's getting pulled to. And I don't watch a huge amount of the Bundesliga, but I know they're not doing well. The games I've seen, they're not very structured. So I would think that he's the player getting pulled to try to give the team some just defensive structure and stability, because he's not really a player in a top league who's going to defend well and get in a block,
No, and they don't. That role that he's playing for the U.S. men's national team is not how they've typically deployed him there.
So you usually play wide?
He played a lot wide, and I think he was playing cam at times. But yeah, he was playing it like an attacking mid position, not a full a box to box mid or holding mid.
I think that the team's really missing Tyler Adams. I think in some ways Tyler Adams is a winner. Obviously, he's pretty hurt right now. He's had another surgery on his hamstring, I believe. But I think that the team really misses the balance that someone like Tyler Adams provides.
Yeah, and then you end up with people like Luca De La Torre starting.
Yeah, probably not at the level.
Yeah, he's going to be out for a long time, I think. Yeah. So we need to figure that out. Yeah. So. All right. Well, we are probably a little bit longer than we want wanted to go. So
they love listening to us.
Yeah,
they want more. They want
it. Got some feedback from our listeners. They missed Derek, if you can believe that, last week.
I missed Derek.
Well, you did say earlier that people just go on Twitter for hot takes. So
yeah, yeah. Maybe they were just trying to get a rise out of me. I don't know. I had forgotten that Derek missed the podcast last week until it was pointed out to me by a listener. That and just getting more and more interactions on social media. We love to see that. Listenership was like slightly down last week, but I'm assuming that's because of the holidays. But generally, like, getting more and more feedback from people, seeing growth. We really appreciate it. And if you're listening, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. And we've got a website. I threw a post up from Derek. Derek writes a lot of the content on there. I threw that up like yesterday or the day before, I forget. So there's a website there. There's a Discord that we'd love for more people to join. We'd love for Luke to join, actually.
Yeah, I don't even fucking know what Discord is.
Yeah. That's all we got. We'll see you guys next week. Come on, you Blues.
Good stuff. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Football Yanks podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. We'll see you next time.